Welcome back. Psych. Welcome back to the 26th episode. Could be wrong, but welcome back, everybody.
Actually, yeah, because we're already halfway through the Bible. She mentioned that in like 181 or 182. We're halfway. So that makes sense.
Well, I mean, 26 meaning 26 episodes that we made. But
yeah, one a week. That's 26 weeks. Half of 52 weeks.
There you go.
There you go.
Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing reading the Bible. We're on Kings, First Kings. We left off with a very spicy episode talking about women, degrading women. Just kidding.
Like that player from the Chiefs, Harrison Butler. Did you see that?
He was just spitting facts, and everybody's up. Not up. There goes Coco. We have the pups. Sorry for the loud noises, but they're pups, so
let them be.
All right, so we get back into the craziness that is the north and the south now. Israel has been divided. The north being called Israel still, and the south being called Judah. The north is being run by Jeroboam, and the south is run by Rehoboam. I think we last left off that they died and their sons were taking over.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a little bit more in depth into that now. It's going to get crazy. So we probably miss a couple names of the kings, because some of them only reigned for 7 days and another one for 2 years.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
So we begin 1 Kings 15. Abijah is the son of Rehoboam, and Asa is the son of Abijah.
Mm-hmm.
So Asa, son of Abijah, I don't think he lives too long, so that's why they probably mentioned his kid right away. Asa tears down the idols.
Didn't it say he also rebuked his grandma or something like that? Or someone in his family? Yeah.
Oh, this is where King Jerry dies.
Mm-hmm.
Jeroboam in the north. Jeroboam, his son Nadab takes over. Nadab kills. His whole family gets killed.
Yeah.
And he dies from a sickness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Baasha,
then
evil
dude attacks the south. I think Asa was a good guy because he starts tearing down the idols. That's probably where I wrote it. But then he starts straying away because he gets influenced by bad people from...
Died arrogant.
Yep. Exactly. So then Jehoshaphat takes over for the kingdom after Asa.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this was too long of a thing either, so I'm pretty sure this happened fairly quickly. It wasn't too long. So we jump into King 16. Baasha is the son of Eli. Then Eli has Zimra. And then after Zimra was Omri. Omri was the next king. And then after that was King Ahab.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're going through kings like underwear.
They just don't learn, huh?
Jeez. So, like I said, there's a bunch of names, and they go by quickly because they don't reign for too long because everybody's jealous and wants to kill each other. So, yeah.
It's like the rancho, right? Just a bunch of jealousy and chisme.
Yeah. So, Ahab was the most evil of all because he, we all know his wife.
Jezebel.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Jehoshaphat takes over. Yeah, we'll say it. So Jezebel, evil lady. We'll find out more about her later. Jehoshaphat takes over as king. Southern kingdom. Yeah, I think God favored the southern kingdom, right? Because they were There were more.
They're in David's lineage.
Right. And so they actually held up a lot of the commandments and rituals and everything that God had commanded them to do.
Isn't that what God told Solomon? He's like, I'm going to tear the kingdom apart, but I still want some of it to stay in the lineage.
Yeah. So the kingdoms, and Jehoshaphat was such a good king that even the kingdoms around them, they took notice and they were fearful of the south because they never attacked them because they knew God was with them. So it's a good thing for Jehoshaphat. So right now is, I think for the most part now, is more of a battle between Jehoshaphat and Ahab. And so now we come to 1 Kings 17, where we meet Elijah.
The prophet.
El profeta. He was a real profeta. Not like these wannabe profetas from Jerry's camp who bring 400 profetas. Profeta convention or what? Yeah. So we'll read about that later. But well, pretty quickly. So Elijah goes and tells Ahab, hey, there's going to be a drought. So just prepare. Or Elijah, what is it? Ahab. Yeah, Ahab gets mad, obviously, because he doesn't think that's from God. So Elijah is told to leave by God a couple of times because I'm pretty sure they're going after him. So Elijah comes up to this widow who has a sick son, and Elijah helps to bring him back to life.
Hold on, you forgot the ravens and the creek.
What happened?
That God told him, at this creek, the ravens will bring you food. And that's how he was able to stay alive. And then that's when he went to the woman. The Proverbs 30.
Well, I only skipped that because it gets even worse when he goes and hides in a cave and has to run without eating for 40 days.
No, at least he had the ravens.
There you go. So then, Elijah has to confront Ahab again.
Wait, pause. So is that kid the first person to be brought back to life?
Ooh.
It's not.
Well, the pot lady said that it never said he died. He just lost breath or lost some. Like she emphasized that.
That it didn't specifically say he died.
Yeah.
He just, the Hebrew or whatever mentions that says that he lost his breath. So it doesn't specifically say that he died. But I don't know how you. I mean, I guess. What, did you CPR or something? His inhaler?
Yeah. I don't know. Just saying that.
Yeah.
But it comes back to breath.
So it could be, maybe that he was the first person to be resurrected. Who knows? Only God knows. And Elijah. So then,
the prophet battle.
Yes, they meet up in a mountain, right? So he tells them, you know what? Let me just show you that my God is real. Why don't you bring your best prophets?
All 400 of them.
All of them. Get them out of that church convention, Profeta convention they're at, and just bring them on over.
And it was only 400 versus 1 because what was Jezebel doing to the rest? She was trifling. She was killing them.
So Elijah tells them they set up the altar, right? The sacrifice thing. And they go, okay, pray to your gods. Tell them to bring down the fire so they can consume the sacrifice.
And then he starts mocking them. Right.
And because he says that, I think they mentioned that they do it for hours.
Yeah. Like, what did he say? Like, is your God, is he traveling or is he sleeping?
Yeah. And so, he says that and he goes, okay, so the only way to raise up a sleeping God is that they have to slit their wrist and drop the blood in the ground so that they can wake up. Supposedly that was the way to wake up the gods. So they do. But then, Elijah just keeps making fun of him. So then he goes, all right, it's my turn. So he calls for a bunch of, I think, like 12 jars of water to be drenched in the altar and all of the surrounding area. And this was a pretty bold move because they were in a drought. So you just wasted 12 like jars of water on this trick that might not even work. And so he had so much confidence in that it would that he didn't. And so God brings down the fire. He burns every single thing. Even he even burns up the soil and the rock that were around the sacrifice altar. So that's how you know. And so Ahab goes back and tells Jezebel. Jezebel's like, I want him to.
Is that before or after Elijah had all of the prophetas killed?
True. Yeah, because that was part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were consumed by the. Yeah, you're right. So then, as we mentioned, Jezebel now is mad, and she wants Elijah's head. And so a messenger goes and tells Elijah, and Elijah gets scared, obviously.
Flees.
So he starts running. And then he I think he hides under a tree, right? Some kind of tree. And then he falls asleep because he's tired. And then there's this angel that wakes him up, tells him, hey, you got to get up, got to start moving again because they're after you. And so he goes, and look to your side. There's some bread and some water there. You're going to need it because you're going to be traveling a lot. And so he keeps on running, and he finally gets to a cave when he goes into the forest and wilderness. And so when he gets into the cave, he's waiting on God to tell him what to do next. And so there's like this. So God shows up, right? There's this big old cloud. God talks to him, and there's this wind, but it says that the wind was not. God was not in the wind. Then there was an earthquake, and it says that God was not in the earthquake, and so he needed to wait in silence and hear God's whisper for him to know what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And so he told him, hey, you're going to have to start running, and you're going to not eat for 40 days until you get to, I forgot what place he was going to. But he says, you're going to have to, what I want you to do is you're going to go to this place, and you're going to find your next prophet, who's one who's going to take your place. His name is Elisha. And you're going to appoint the new king of Syria. And so, yeah, what do you think?
Choose your spouse wisely.
Mm-hmm. Make sure she's not a Jezebel.
Just killing all these people. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, Elijah was terrified. I'd be scared too. Even though he mocked all the people, right? It's like,
That's funny.
when it started to get real, like, oh, better run.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this, the king of Syria, Ben-Hadad.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on to want to fight Ahab. And so I think they come out to like this truce, right? They don't end up fighting. For some reason, I can't remember. I didn't even write it down, but it was for some reason they don't end up fighting. And so I don't know. For some reason, Ahab wants to extend his kingdom, and the only way he would do that is that he needs to acquire more land. And so there's this guy in the neighboring town. His name is Naboth. Naboth, something like that. Naboth, Naboth. And so he tries to buy the land from him, but he doesn't want to sell it. And so what Jezebel does is that she sends Naboth a letter saying that, hey, come over to this worship conference. We're we're gonna worship God here
That's how
together.
they get you
Yeah,
back to the conferences.
exactly. And so the both not thinking of anything. Oh, we're just gonna go worship God, right? But little did he know is that Jezebel had two people accuse him of cursing God and the king. And so that is obviously punishable by death. So there was nobody else, and they stoned them both to death, and they take his land. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Ahab takes them both land, and then Elijah confronts them again, telling them, because of that, your family will die. And for some reason, now is when Ahab starts getting repentful, right? He's like, now he's thinking, because he already saw the display that Elijah already put out. Like, he goes, okay, I know this guy means like business, right? Because he did that. He destroyed all the 400 prophetas, and so I probably better take whatever he says to heart. And so he was repentant, and so God actually said he would delay the punishment for the next generation. But if we continue on, we find out that even though God was willing to uphold his promise, Ahab was still being greedy.
Of course. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
And then he dies later.
So I mean they I think they're about to go to war, right? The North and the South are coming together because they're gonna fight a common enemy, which I think is Syria. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think so.
And so Ahab brings his 400 prophets, right? And so, but then Jehoshaphat, is it Jehoshaphat? Yeah, Jehoshaphat. He doesn't believe any of the prophets. So he goes, do you have any other prophet that you can confirm with? And of course, what is it? Ahab only brings the prophets that agree with him, but he doesn't bring Micah, which is the one who is always against him, telling him no. And so he goes, then Jehoshaphat, yeah, bring him. Let's see what he has to say. And so Micah's brought in, and he tells them that he's still going to die if they do this. And so I think Jehoshaphat has to have this moment of, they have to have this truth or this agreement that they're going to fight together. And so the only way to come together is that they need to join their families and marry each other so that they can have an alliance, right? That's how the alliances were back then. Like if you wanted to team up with another kingdom, if you had a daughter and they had a son, you had to marry them so that they can combine and be legit. And so that's what they ended up doing. And so of course God doesn't want that. But I think Ahab still wanted to take over the kingdom, right? So, and he still wants to kill Jehoshaphat. So what does he do?
He has Jehoshaphat wear the nice robes, I think. And then Ahab was just basically just hiding in plain clothes so the enemy could go to Jehoshaphat and kill him. But when they get closer, they see it's not Ahab. So, and then I think what was it, like a sling or an arrow?
It was a bow.
A bow gets loose, or they shoot it.
An arrow, right?
Yeah. Shoot it I guess they're about to attack him, but they're like, oh crap. And then it hits him and he dies. So. Dead. Ahab's dead.
That's what he gets.
And then his son is worse than him, as always.
Yeah, Ahab wears a disguise and then he gets struck by a stray arrow.
There you go, stray.
So then Jehoshaphat is appointing judges to rule over the land for him.
Again, didn't they learn already?
Yeah. And so there's this battle that they're going into, and then what they do is that they bring out the worship leaders. and they're the ones who lead the army. So
that's one where they send them to the front, right?
Yeah. And so because they do, by the time they get to the enemy, the enemy already killed each other.
Yeah, they didn't have to fight. That's crazy.
I remember this one story at Colty. They were preaching on this, that the worship team has to be in the front of the church, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, what we're going to do. He's like, the worship team, stand in front. And so he made us all walk one circle around the church.
Outside?
Inside, like around the building,
Oh.
signifying the worship being in front, guiding the church.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There you go. Did the walls come down?
No, just the secrets came out. That's all.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So the enemy started killing each other, and by the time they got there, they didn't have to fight. So, of course, that obviously
pretty cool.
Illustrates the power of worship. Of course, it's a reference to Jericho. So then, Ahaziah is the new king of the north.
King of the north.
And for some reason, Jehoshaphat wants to make an alliance with him instead of actually
just staying away
or conquering them.
Mm.
But I don't think God wants a civil war. So, but it's not good that they made an alliance.
Who was it? Was it David that didn't destroy the Ammonites, and then later they
I think they
bit him on the
about
butt
that here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they build boats because they want to go up to like Spain area and like capture more land or whatever. But God wrecks their ships. And so then Jehoram, no,
The son. Well, he's the son of Jehoshaphat.
Yes.
He becomes king.
Yes.
But then dies.
So the alliances between Ahab and Jehoshaphat was that their kids would marry. That was part of it. So Jehoram is the son-in-law of Ahab. So he pretty much takes after him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He married his daughter.
Right. So Jehoram tries to kill the Edomites, which was a treaty, like you were saying, that they had back then. The Edomites,
Esau.
Yeah, Esau and Israel.
Closest neighbors to them.
Right. And so they were always, it's like Game of Thrones, don't watch kids. Game of Thrones where they were, would say, raise your banners and fight with us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what they were.
But they didn't help them.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
It was like.
And so Elijah tells Jehoram that his family would die and that he would die from a sickness.
Mm-hmm.
So Ahaziah takes over the south.
No, he's the north.
Sorry, the north. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jehoram takes over the south.
Right.
But then he kills all his family. Kills all his brothers because he can. Jealous.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't want
anybody else
to take his throne, so he takes after his Ahab. So, yeah, kills everybody. Or he tries to, at least. Jehu kills Ahaziah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Athaliah. So because of that, Athaliah was the first queen.
Yeah, he only reigned 2 years. Mm-hmm.
And then Joash is the next king after her.
But he was like 7, so the priest had to take over until he was older.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the Game of Thrones too, when they put that kid, and then he kills himself because a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just a crazy big old mess, and all because of the sins of the fathers beforehand and delaying the punishment to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is what they call a generational curse.
Yeah. And then we start a new book, which is the last day here.
But also we do some
Psalms.
Y'all talk about that. Let me get my Gen Z translation.
Wait, you haven't done it all the last couple.
Obadiah's writings were unknown as far as like they don't know when they were written, time period, but they seem to make it fall in between here. Edom attacks Jerusalem, and Edom doesn't help Judah, like we were saying. And so God condemns the Edomites through Obadiah. So what is your thought on Psalms?
I remember her talking about that when she used the word bullied, kind of like when because God works justice for His people, so He takes it personally when we are attacked or when we're yeah, and she used like an example of us being bullied, like so God. That was part of some of the Psalms I read.
I think she mentions that she had a bully and that her brother said, "Point out the bully to me so that I know who it is whenever they try to mess with you."
Yeah. So it's just 2 Psalms.
And now it's time for the Gen Z translation of the day. JP, take it away.
Today we got Psalms 83, verse 18. The regular people translation says, "Let them know that you, whose name is the Lord, that you alone are the most high over the earth." Now the cool kids today, they say, "Tell them that you, whose name is the Lord, that you are the OG, the most high of highs all over the earth."
OG.
Original God.
Original God.
That's all I got.
Alrighty.
So don't stray from God, obey, or else you will be cursed.
Go to church. Don't be like Abraham.
Or be like me. Okay.
Sit in the back if you want.
Or you can watch from your home. Same thing.
Just don't watch Mike Todd.
Watch Mike Todd.
I'd rather you watch Joel Osteen than Mike Rod.
Oh God, no. Just because he's a Houston. He probably lives in the Woodlands.
Probably.
Oh yeah, where does he live?
He probably has a house in the Woodlands. Next to Marco's Wheat.
Probably has several houses in the Woodlands.
I think Evan Kraft just moved there too.
Louis.
Alright, people. Thanks for sticking with us for 26 episodes.
We're halfway.
Halfway there. So hopefully you read it. You don't have to watch it. Just push play all, and just leave.
You don't even have to put the volume up. Just let the thing run. That's all.
Just put it in a separate tab. Minimize it. So it's like a little box. And just put another window over it. Just play it. I don't think it'll read it that you're not watching. Even though you're still... Whatever. You know what I mean? Peace.
Peace.